What if the next cinematic film you produce, the one with photorealistic lighting, believable human faces, real emotional performances, and shots that look like they came off a Red camera on a $50,000 set, never touched a camera at all? No location scouting, no crew, no lighting rigs, no render farm screaming in the corner of your studio. Just you, a creative vision, and a generative pipeline powerful enough to output footage that fools the eye. That's not the future. That's right now. And in the next hour, I'm going to show you exactly how the top AI filmmakers and ad studios are producing hyper-realistic cinematic video at a level that was flat out impossible 18 months ago. Here's the honest truth about where we are. The gap between obviously AI and indistinguishable from reality has basically closed. But most creators are still stuck making that plastic, uncanny, slightly melting AI footage that screams fake the second it hits the timeline. Waxy skin, dead eyes, lighting that doesn't obey physics, motion that drifts and warps, faces that morph between cuts. And when you're producing at a professional level for clients, for campaigns, for cinematic projects that carry your name, that uncanny valley look isn't just embarrassing, it's disqualifying. It's the difference between footage a client pays a premium for and footage they quietly reject. So today, I'm breaking down the 3 secrets the pros use to cross that line. How to generate footage that reads as genuinely real, how to hold cinematic consistency across an entire project, and how to do it with enough raw processing power to run this like a studio instead of a hobby. 3 secrets. And the third one, the production pipeline with the horsepower behind it, is the exact dividing line between creators who make one lucky viral clip and the professionals building real, revenue-generating studios. Stay with me all the way through, because that's where the leverage lies. Let me be direct about who this is built for, because this is not beginner content. This is for you if you're an AI filmmaker producing cinematic shorts, narrative sequences, or full films, and you need footage that holds up on a big screen, not just a phone feed. A professional ad creator or agency building high-end branded campaigns where production value directly determines whether the client says yes. A generative storyteller working at scale who has outgrown the toy generators and needs real processing power, higher generation limits, native high-resolution output, and access to the best underlying models on the planet. A content studio or serious solo operator turning AI video into an actual business where realism, consistency, and volume translate directly into revenue. If that's you, you already know the free tools can't get you there. Uncanny Valley footage doesn't pay. You need horsepower, resolution, and models that actually understand light, physics, and human faces. That's exactly what we're solving today. Here's the roadmap. I'm revealing 3 secrets for producing genuinely hyper-realistic cinematic AI video at professional scale. Secret 1. The cinematic realism formula. How to kill the uncanny valley look and generate footage indistinguishable from real cameras. Secret 2. The model stack and the niches. Winning right now. Which generative engines produce true realism and where pros are deploying them for maximum return. Secret 3. The studio-grade production pipeline. How to generate hyper-realistic video at scale with the processing power to turn it into recurring revenue. Let's start with the one that solves the problem holding back 95% of AI creators. Let's diagnose the real problem first, because you can't fix what you can't name. When AI footage looks fake, it's almost never one big thing. It's a stack of small tells your brain subconsciously catches. Skin that's too smooth and waxy. Eyes that don't hold light. Lighting with no consistent source. Camera motion that floats unnaturally. And motion artifacts where hands and edges warp between frames. Individually, small. Stacked together, your audience instantly feels something's off, even if they can't articulate why. The old approach to fixing this was brute force, endless prompt tweaking, generating 50 takes, hoping one landed, and manually cleaning up artifacts frame by frame. At scale, that's a career-ending time sink. Here's the professional realism formula the top creators actually use. Pillar 1. Start with a cinematic engine, not a generic one. Realism is decided at the model level. The current top-tier video engines like Cadence 2 and VO 3.1 were trained to understand real-world physics, natural light behavior, believable material textures, and coherent motion. Choosing the right underlying model is the single biggest lever on realism, and it's why access to a deep library of models matters more than any single prompt trick. Pillar 2. Direct like a cinematographer, not a typist. Amateurs, prompt subjects. Professionals, prompt cinematography. You specify the lens, shot on an 85mm at f1.8. The lighting, soft, golden hour. Key light from camera left, warm rim light. The film stock or color grade, teal and orange cinematic grade. Slight film grain. The camera moving, slow dolly in, subtle handheld sway. And the depth of field. When you speak the language of a real film set, the engine produces footage that obeys real film physics. Pillar 3. Nail the human layer. Realism lives and dies on faces. That means natural micro-expressions, believable eye movement, and critically accurate lip sync when your subject speaks. The pro engines now handle emotional voice cloning and precise mouth movement, so your character doesn't just look real, they perform real. This is the layer that separates a moving photo from a living scene. Pillar 4. Output at true resolution. Realism collapses at low resolution. Compression smears detail, muddies skin, and kills the crispness that sells the shot. Producing at native high resolution up to 4K preserves the fine texture in skin, fabric, hair, and environment that your brain reads as real. On a client's big screen, resolution is non-negotiable. Pillar 5. Grade for cohesion. Finally, cinematic footage is unified footage. A consistent color grade across every shot ties the project together and pushes it firmly out of the uncanny valley and into "this looks like a movie" territory. Stack those 5 pillars, and you stop generating AI clips. You start generating cinema, footage that reads as real, footage a client will pay premium money for. But here's the trap even skilled creators fall into. They obsess over realism and never ask which engines actually deliver it, or where to point that realism for the biggest return. So let's talk about the model stack and the niches quietly printing money right now. The most photorealistic footage in the world is worthless if it dies at 200 views or never lands a client. So let me show you both halves of the equation. The engines that deliver true realism and the niches where that realism converts into revenue. First, the model stack. Here's what most creators get wrong. They marry one model, but different models excel at different things. The pros treat their model library like a lens kit, the right tool for the right shot. Cinematic live-action realism for footage that mimics real cameras, real humans, and real physics. You reach for the flagship engines like Cadence 2 and VO 3.1. Precise motion and physical coherence for complex action, camera moves, and believable object interaction without warping. Stylized and hybrid looks for when you want cinematic but heightened, blending realism with an art direction. The advantage isn't any single model, it's having 200 plus of them under one roof and knowing which to deploy per shot. That's the difference between a creator locked into one aesthetic and a studio that can deliver any look a client demands. Now the niche is winning right now. 1. Premium branded ad campaigns. This is where the money is most obvious. Brands pay enormous premiums for cinematic, photorealistic ads, product hero shots, lifestyle scenes, spokesperson spots. AI now delivers that look without a shoot, a crew, or a 5-figure location budget. Ad creators who can produce broadcast quality footage on demand are commanding agency-level rates as a team of one. Case study pattern. Studios are spinning up entire cinematic ad libraries, hero cuts, platform variations, retargeting edits, all at photorealistic quality. In a fraction of the time and cost of a traditional shoot, the margin difference is staggering. 2. Cinematic short films and narrative trailers. Hyperrealism unlocks storytelling that used to require a production budget. Filmmakers are producing genuinely cinematic shorts and concept trailers, the kind that get festival attention and build a directing reputation solo. 3. Realistic product and real estate visualization. Photorealistic AI is a goldmine for showcasing products, interiors, and properties in perfect cinematic light without a physical shoot. High realism here directly drives buyer confidence and sales, which is why these clients pay well. 4. High-end documentary and historical recreation. Realistic reconstruction of scenes, eras, and events that could never be filmed. Documentary and educational producers use hyper-realistic AI to visualize the impossible, and the more real it looks, the more authoritative the content feels. 5. Cinematic music videos and visual storytelling. Artists and creators are producing fully realized, film-grade music videos with AI dreamlike, photoreal, impossible-to-shoot visuals at a fraction of traditional cost. Notice the pattern. In every one of these niches, realism is the product. The closer your footage gets to indistinguishable from reality, the more it's worth and the more you can charge. Uncanny Valley footage is a commodity. Cinematic realism is a premium service. So now you know how to create realism, and you know where to deploy it. But here's the question that separates the hobbyists from the professionals. How do you produce this at volume reliably, at high resolution, without running out of processing power right when a deadline hits? That's secret number 3, and it's the most important one. Here's the truth. Nobody selling you a one magic prompt course wants to admit, making one stunning cinematic shot is easy. Producing an entire film, or a full ad campaign, or a steady stream of client deliverables at photorealistic quality, at native 4K, on a reliable schedule, that's the whole game. And it's exactly where the overwhelming majority of creators hit a wall and quit. Because doing this manually, at scale, means re-establishing your look and style on every new project, fighting to color match and light match across dozens of shots, rendering high-resolution footage that chokes consumer hardware, hand-fixing motion artifacts, pacing, captions, and audio on every clip, and the killer constantly running out of generation credits or processing power right in the middle of a deadline. That's not a creative workflow, that's a bottleneck. And at a professional level, that bottleneck is the hard ceiling on your income. The pros solve this by treating content like a production pipeline, not a stack of one-off tasks. Here's the framework. Step 1. Define your cinematic system once. Your visual style, your grade, your character identities, your brand tone saved into a persistent creative memory. Do it once, and every future project inherits it. No more starting from zero. Step 2. Feed the brief, direct the outcome. You provide the script, concept, or storyboard. The agent assembles the scenes, applies your cinematic look, selects appropriate models, and holds continuity while you operate as the director, not the render technician. Step 3. Leverage real processing power. This is where the pro tier is non-negotiable. Native high-resolution output up to 4K, extended video lengths, priority rendering, and high generation limits mean you produce at volume instead of babysitting a queue. When your compute matches your ambition, your output stops being throttled, and that's what makes client work in cinematic scale actually possible. Step 4. Access the full model library on demand. With 200 plus models available, you deploy the perfect engine for each shot. Live-action realism here, complex motion there without ever leaving your pipeline or paying for a dozen separate tools. Step 5. Repeat and compound. Because your style and assets are saved, every new project takes a fraction of the time of the first. Your pipeline gets faster, not slower. That's the difference between linear grinding and compounding leverage. Now, let's talk revenue, because this is a business, not a hobby. Once your pipeline is running, you monetize on multiple fronts at once. Client work producing cinematic ads and branded films at premium, agency-level rates as a solo operator or lean studio. Original IP building films, series, and franchises you own. Volume services offering fast turnaround, high-quality video production that traditional shoots can't match on speed or price. Content channels monetizing cinematic, long-form, and shorts across platforms. When photorealistic quality meets production volume, you don't just make videos, you build a content studio that pays you back every single day. That's the professional model. So let me ask you something honest. Would you rather keep doing all of this the hard way, endlessly tweaking prompts, generating dozens of takes hoping one looks real, manually fixing artifacts and color matching every shot, choking your hardware on 4K renders, and constantly slamming into generation limits that cap how much you can actually produce? Or would you rather have a single, powerful tool that holds your cinematic style locked, gives you on-demand access to the best realism engines on the planet, delivers native high-resolution output, and hands you the processing horsepower to produce at studio scale so you can operate purely as the director and focus on the vision and the revenue? If you pick the second option, the professional's option, then let me show you exactly what makes it possible. I want to introduce you to InVideo V4 and specifically its flagship feature, Agent 1. Agent 1 is not another basic text-to-video toy. It's a fully customizable AI video agent that you build and direct around your creative vision. You define your cinematic style, your look, your characters, and your storytelling context once, and Agent 1 remembers all of it, applying it consistently across every generation. For a professional producing hyper-realistic work at scale, that's everything. It means consistent cinematic quality, consistent style, and photoreal output automatically, across your entire body of work. It's like having a tireless film crew and a full render pipeline that never forgets your vision and never slows down. And on the Pro tier, it's backed by the horsepower. This actually requires native output up to 4K, extended video lengths, priority rendering, high generation volumes, and on-demand access to a library of 200 plus of the best generative models available, including the latest cinematic engines like Cadence 2 and Veo 3.1. That's what turns Agent 1 from a creative tool into a genuine production studio. Bottom line, it's going to help you produce hyper-realistic cinematic video at professional scale, without a camera, without a crew, and without the manual grind and processing bottlenecks that have been capping your output starting today. Here's everything you unlock inside InVideo V4 with Agent 1 at the Pro level. Agent 1, your custom AI video agent, trained on your cinematic style and creative context for consistent, photoreal output on every project. Access to 200 plus generative models, including the top cinematic realism engines like Cadence 2 and Veo 3.1, so you always create with the best available quality, native high-resolution output up to 4K, preserving the fine detail that makes footage read as genuinely real on any screen. Cinematic realism toolkit lens, lighting, grade, and camera movement control that produces true film set physics. Emotional AI, voice cloning and precise lip sync believable. Cinematic performances with natural voices in dozens of languages. Extended long-form generation produce longer cinematic pieces with the processing power to match professional projects. Priority processing and high generation limits. the horsepower to produce at studio scale without throttling. Pro editing suite auto captions, cinematic transitions, and a full licensed music library built for retention. Massive stock media and template library for unlimited creative flexibility. And when you take action today, you'll also unlock the cinematic prompt playbook, the exact lens, lighting, and grade prompts pros use to hit photorealism on the first try. The high-return niche and case study vault, the most profitable niches for hyper-realistic AI video with real client breakdowns. Now, based on everything you're getting here, a fully custom AI video agent, access to 200 plus of the best generative models, native 4K output, a full cinematic realism toolkit, emotional voice cloning, extended generation, priority processing power, and the bonuses, you would genuinely expect an investment of at least $10,000 to build a production capability like this. And honestly, if you tried to assemble this yourself, licensing multiple AI engines, paying for 4K compute, hiring editors and colorists, you'd blow past that number in a single quarter. But joining today, it's not going to be anywhere near 10,000. It won't even be 5,000. It won't even be 1,000. To unlock NVIDIA V4 with the Pro Tier Agent 1 capabilities, the 4K output, the full model library, the extended generation, and the processing power this professional workflow demands, you can get started for as little as $170 per month. That's a rounding error compared to a single client campaign, a single brand deal, or a single cinematic project that lands. Click the link below right now to start building your hyper-realistic cinematic production pipeline with NVIDIA V4 and Agent 1 today. And here's what makes this a genuinely smart, risk-free decision. If you don't get value from it for any reason, you can cancel at any time. There's no long-term contract locking you in. You're in full control. The way I see it, this doesn't really cost you anything, because the cinematic footage you'll produce, the clients you'll serve, and the projects you'll build can earn back your investment many times over fast. This is a completely risk-free investment in your own capability as a professional creator. You have nothing to lose and an entire production studio to gain. Let me answer the questions I know pros are asking. Can I use this from anywhere in the world? Yes. NVIDIA V4 and Agent 1 are fully cloud-based. All the processing power, including the 4K rendering, lives in the cloud. No expensive local workstation, no render farm. All you need is a browser and an internet connection. Do I need advanced editing, VFX, or AI experience? No. Agent 1 handles the technical complexity so you can operate at the level of a director. If you have the cinematic vision, the tool executes it. Can it really produce footage indistinguishable from a real camera? With the top-tier models like Cdance 2 and VO 3.1, combined with proper cinematic direction and 4K output, the realism is genuinely striking. The gap between AI and real has closed dramatically, and this gives you the exact tools to close it in your own work. I produce at high volume, will the processing power keep up? That's precisely what the Pro tier exists for. Extended generation, priority rendering, and high generation limits mean your output isn't throttled. This is the plan built for creators operating at scale. If AI video becomes common, will this still work? Yes, and this is the mindset shift that matters. Soon, everyone will have AI. The winners won't be the ones simply using it. They'll be the ones producing the most realistic, best directed, most cinematic work. Craft and creative direction are the durable edge, and that's exactly what this gives you. How fast can I start producing? You can generate your first cinematic shot within the hour. Building a monetizable body of work comes down to your consistency of output, and this pipeline makes that dramatically easier than ever before. So let's think about this the way a professional thinks about it. Would this be worth it if it landed you just one client campaign, one brand deal, or one cinematic project that builds your reputation? Obviously, yes, a single result at this level pays for the entire year many times over. Will it give you the realism, the resolution, and the processing power to actually operate at scale? Yes. Is it risk-free, with the freedom to cancel anytime? Yes. This is one of those rare decisions where the logic is airtight. The only real question is where you want to be 12 months from now. Do you want to be watching other creators produce cinematic, photorealistic work, land the premium clients, and build studios with AI? Or do you want to be the professional they're studying? The tools have finally caught up to the ambition. The uncanny valley is behind us. The processing power is available. All that's left is for you to press start. Click the link below, unlock InVideo V4 with Agent 1, and let's build your hyper-realistic cinematic production pipeline today. I'll see you on the inside.